So basically, where there's solder still on the pads, you gotta put a little bit more low melt to it. Turn your soldering iron back on. Put a little flux on it. Hit it with some more low melt. Basically, it's going to put solder back on the pads. Turn your hot air gun back on. Okay, now I didn't get it all up, but I definitely got a lot more of it up than there was. So there's a couple more spots I'm going to have to hit, try to pick up. basically you do this process over and over until you can tell that there's no solder left on the pad. So I'm going to pause the tape so I can save some film, and I'll start it back up when I get it completely clean. Okay, so here's the chip after the low melt removal with the low melt instead of solder wick. As you can see, each pad completely flat, completely no solder left on, completely perfectly spaced. So this is the way I recommend doing it. But I'm not gonna lie, the low melt solder is expensive. And once again, I get it off the zeph.com, ZEPH.com. I think you can get like 18 sticks of it for close to $40. So if anybody knows anywhere else to get that stuff at a good price, please let me know. And like I said, if you're going to use those, I said in a different video, but if you're going to use these pink anti-static foam swabs, don't get them off zeph.com because they'll charge you a boatload for them. It was like, oh, what was it? I got 12 of them for like $8, and then I googled it, anti-static foam swab, and I found a 50 pack for like 15. So you can definitely tell there's a big difference on different websites. So I'm gonna get this set up for the reball process. I got the heat direct stencil I'm gonna put on it. I'm gonna put a thin layer of the Kingbo RMA-218 tacky flux on the chip, and then I'll put the stencil on, and then I'll put the tape around the chip, and then I'll show you how to get the balls in the holes and then heat it up. So I'm gonna pause it. Okay, so I got the stencil on, tape around the edges. The best way to do it is to don't even worry about the alignment, just put the tape on the side, but don't fold it over yet. You know, get it ready, get it lined up here on the top, and then fold it over. That way you got this side perfectly good. Flip it over, go ahead and put your tape on this side. Get this side lined up and flip it over. And then the other two sides are pretty simple because you already got it lined up. I got my thin layer Kingbo flux on there already. So basically you have to have a bowl of some sort and just dump the balls on. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is just set it down. Basically, take my little tool here and just go around and fix them and get rid of the excess ones and get a ball in every hole. Once I do that, I'll start the tape back up. Alright, so I got a ball in every hole now. I got my aluminum foil down. I got my hot air gun on the lowest temperature, or the lowest speed it'll go. Set to 420 degrees. I know it might be a little high, but that's just what I'm going to keep it at. Just don't stay in one spot too long. This usually doesn't take very long. Alright, so now we gotta let it cool. You can set it up on the Joby and turn the fan on once all the balls aren't liquid anymore. So I'm going to pause it and let it cool off. Then I'm going to take the tape off, take it off, the stencil off, and put it back on my blue jig, and I'm probably going to put a thin layer of flux on top and reheat it up. That way, if any balls aren't completely on the pads, they'll jump on the pads. So I'm going to pause it. Okay, so I already had the board clean. I did what I said I was going to do. I put a little bit of a thin layer of Kingbow on the chip and reheated it, and I could definitely tell some balls jumped into their spot a little bit better. With those heat direct pads, or heat direct stencils, they basically get the balls in the area, general area, but not all of them get on the pads exactly the way you would want. So reheating them up after you get the stencil off is always a good idea.